Hey, good morning, everybody, and hope you all are having a good time in this conference. So if you're having a good time, please give me a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. First of all, we apologize that we were not able to get Miss America for you because she's in Dallas and she's not able to travel because of the severe weather conditions. So the chairman, on behalf of IIT 2013 Global Conference Committee, I apologize. I'm sorry for that. Now, WHEEL is a pan-IIT initiative, and WHEEL stands for Water, Health, Education, Energy, Lifestyles, and Security. Giving back to the community is one of the core missions of PanIIT. Since its founding in 2003, the alumni have not only given to their IIT campuses, but also to the communities in India and in the US that has supported and nourished the IIT alumnus. Individuals have done a lot of charities, as we all know, but what can we do as a group? And WHEELS is one of the PanIIT initiatives for this collective giving. To learn more about this, we have a panel which is being moderated by Suresh Shenoy. Suresh is a past president of PanIIT, and also he's my brother because he chaired the 2005 event in Washington, D.C. His day job is he's an executive vice president of information management consultant, commonly known as IMC, in Washington, D.C. The bio of all the people on my left are in the brochure. You can have, because if I start telling you about their achievements, it might be afternoon. So you can read in the brochure. So I'll give it to Suresh to take it to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I think you can do better than that. I think it's been a terrific conference. So let's hear it for Viti Bindra and the team here. Well, they say, if you give, you also get. And we've been very fortunate that as IIT alumni, we already got. So we should put it in our DNA to give. And that's what WHEELS is all about, giving back. And to talk about WHEELS in some more detail and how we can all contribute and participate in this giving back program, we have a terrific panel here. I'm going to be introducing each speaker as he comes up. But more importantly, I want to make sure that you please turn your cell phones off and give the speakers the courtesy of your attention and not talk while they're speaking. It's a panel format. If you have any questions, there'll be people collecting questions from you and bringing it back on stage here for me. And we will try and answer all of them. And if you don't get all the answers, we have a booth here with PanIIT, and please do stop by and ask any one of us who's there on how you can participate. So to lead off the panel, we are very fortunate, as I mentioned the other night, that the chairman of this organization from the get-go, our mentor and someone who's a distinguished alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, Arjun Malhotra, has been with us from the get-go and has been the visionary and the leader that has helped us all along. So please help me in welcoming Arjun.
That's great. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be associated with an organization that actually is working towards giving back to the communities where all of us have got so much and all of us are still getting so much. So right now, the way we've got the structure focused is we are trying to look at some major global issues that we think the PanIIT alumni should try and focus on and try and make a difference. If you notice, I'm not saying we're going to solve it. I think some of these problems are too large to solve. but we do want to play a role, we do want to play a significant role, if I use that term, and try and make a difference. And I will, Viti already talked about the acronym WHEELS and what it sort of defines. I will put it together here again. We have leaders in each of these 6 areas that we want to address. All of these we feel are relevant, not just in a country like India, but most of them apply even to the US. Our initial focus is going to be in India because that's where the problems are more intense, are larger, are more immediate. And as we learn and as we get a better understanding, we will then take some of this expertise and that we develop in India and address these problems on a more global level. Really, what is the genesis of WHEELS? Where did it come from? Why did we want to do this? I think Suresh and Viti did mention it. I'll re-emphasize what we want to do. We are a part of the global community. IIT is no longer just a local India or a local US brand. There are IITians all over the world. They're all recognized for multiple things. And we do have a brand that is now recognized. In fact, I'm happy to say that wherever I travel in the world, when I introduce myself, I specifically make sure I say I'm from IIT. And you can see in people's eyes that it does have an impact. And so we do have a responsibility once you reach that kind of, or you're part of that club or part of that brand, to be able to see how you can contribute in improving the world in a small way. And I'm hoping all of you, it's not just money. You know, money is obviously important, and you know, we will raise the funds required for all this. I'm hoping all of you at some point can give your expertise, give your time, and give your passion to try and solve some of the problems that you think you want to get involved in. Some of you don't have the time right now. Some of you have a lot of time like me, who've actually finished retired or semi-retired or whatever word you want to use. Please do something that makes you feel better about yourself. And I think what we are trying to do in WHEELS is give you a conduit where you would be able to make this happen. Thank you, and I will hand it over to...
Thank you, Arjun. Our
Hiten.
next speaker is Hiten Ghosh. He has a daytime job, but I'm saying that because some of you may not know that, because he spent so much time with us at PanIIT. He is one of the founding members of the PanIIT organization. He's been most passionate about everything that we do from the get-go. So with that brief introduction, Hiten, you want to continue and talk about what we've been doing with WHEELS in the recent past?
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to take you on your memory lane. I'm the 4th batch of IIT Kharagpur, so I had a distinct advantage of listening to Prime Minister Nehru when he gave the convocation address.
So Hiten is 1958 batch. I just wanted all of you to know. He's the youngest person on this panel.
He is, he is.
And 2 things I remember, he told us, I don't want you to be only engineers or technologists. One day I want you to be the world citizen. And that has been translated into the IIT Kharagpur's thing. If you go to the portal, in the service of the nation. If you start with that perspective, then you got a challenge for many years ago when PanIIT as a branding were well established in this country and in India as who are IIT alumni, what they stand for, and so on. And the thought process started. It really started Abdul Kalam, who in 2006 challenged us. You have all these things, what have you done to that goal? And the leader who started listening to that is Asan Desai. I think he's in the audience someplace. Asan, please stand up. He led the effort of nation building, which resulted in 2006, 7, 8, and so on, into number of gurukuls, which is a concept of a one person takes over as a guru, brings all the dropout students and create jobs for them. Then another thing he did, again, what is we are imbibing in terms of collaboration. We cannot do it alone. So he went to all the existing NGOs. Many of the alumni were working as an NGO, individual effort. It's a great effort. But he tried to combine them under this activity called nation building. So iCreate was a very similar one. It develops a formal skill development of vocational skill of people. So from that is what I call past. Then we came to this idea was going on, PanIIT USA picked it up. IIT at work. Then in 2011 in New York, Anil Bhandari laid the charge of the wheels. He said, let us recognize, even though we have not started actual work, we can recognize this distinguished work being done by alumni. And you will see some of that effort going on, and I will show some of the picture so you can see that as an individual, you can make a difference if you really believe in it. So that starts the branding concept. PanIIT is a brand, but we go to the next level of brand, which says IIT alumni is not only have a brain, but they have a heart. And think about the PanIIT global force. And 16 institutes come and pour in this alumni. That will be a global force of 500,000 alumni all over the world trying to fulfill the dream that Pandit Nehru gave us. So if you take that approach of thing, then we have started this concept of structuring, this wheel concept, and that is getting into what we call wheel, six tracks. We consider those are the 6 areas we can start because they are the common problem of USA and India. So that's where we are in terms of the present. And you will see, we'll take one project, education, and you have a detailed discussion later on. Let me take you on the present, what we did. So we gave last year in the New York thing, out of the collection that we did, gave almost like $100,000 to Shankar Eye Foundation. I'll show some pictures, 7.35 lakhs. Akshay Patro, $35,000. These are individually and done in India. Dakshana, which is a very interesting thing. Poor farmer's son cannot afford to take the JEE exam and get tutorial, they get wiped out. So this group of people from Bombay IIT created a foundation, and they'll provide fund for them to get educated, and they can compete, and some of them very successful through the IIT JEE exam and later on in their career. Carnegie Fund is a cancer research fund. Somebody started, his relative died, and he says, I'm going to start a fund. That's Carnegie Fund for cancer research. Eco Solution, this is really a touching story. One individual can make the difference. Jatindra Agarwal. He says, I'm going to make a difference. I will create a light in every house in the village. He and his son used to go on a donkey, distant villages in India. He said, no villages will be left untouched by me and my effort. Solar lamp, solar cooking, fantastic effort. So we gave them $12,500. And Pratham is another one started long time ago, and we gave them award. Now we are looking at other area, and we just came to know a very good group, and this really shows how individual can make a difference. Binayak Kanoria, individual from IIT Kharagpur, gave up his corporate career and started, he says, I'm going to take the orphans in villages. When they have, none of the mothers and parents are there, they create what we call a person who will take charge of that child. And then all the education from primary to the high school that's what we call Parivar or family. Excellent program, and we are going to bring it under this umbrella of WIL. So let me now show you some of the picture. Left to right is Jatindra Agarwal's picture, Eco Solution. That family has a light. They can study. Their productivity is higher. All those things that goes with it. Next one, Shankar. This is a tremendous eye hospital. And you can see we get that thing they're well recognizing. They're saying is really helpful for that gift. Then comes, this is a very perfect example, Akshay Patro. It is truly not providing food to 1.35 million. And I think Des Deshpande is somewhere in the audience. He and Naran Mitra started this thing. And now it has become a fantastic thing. Our goal is to take it to 20 million in so many years. So Akka Patro also will become a part and will do everything necessary to make that program successful. And maybe someday I have a fond dream to bring it over, this concept, to this country. Next one is the Parivar, I mentioned to you, is the thing that we will be considering. That brings in to the structures. We must have a structure, and I'm very glad to see the PanIIT USA took the initiative and said, go ahead and form a global foundation. Again, the word global is very important because that is thing connect what we want to be one day. It incorporated as a non-profit, 501c3, open to all professional, not just IIT alumni, independently governed, and IIT, PanIIT Alumni, and Capital IIT, which basically started the mentoring, will have a permanent seat in the board of governance of Wills. Committed to apply technology. It is not a normal charity organization. It must have a technology component, how I can accelerate progress, social change. So application of technology for accelerated social change is the strategy. Common problems of India and USA as a start point, as Arjun mentioned. Collaborate with partners in USA, India. We are supposed to be supporting existing NGOs who are successful and bring it under this one charter, and driven by the social enterprise and give back to the global community. Now, to do that, we need a group, and I'm very happy to see a group of dedicated individuals spending the time. Arjun was very thankful to give the leadership from here, and Sudhakar Senai, the better half of...
Much older brother.
He admits that he's the better handsome guy. Then myself, Suresh, David Lucasi, this is VP of Merrill Lynch. He said, I'm going to help raise the fund. So he's our fund campaign manager. Raj Mehra, VP and Treasurer. Gulab Vabnani, Gulab should be here. He is the instrumental guy, and without it, you cannot make it happen. Now comes Deepak Basu. Deepak, you will hear from Deepak. He's the main speaker. He and his wife, Radha Basu, and Radha should be here also in the audience, did a fantastic thing. You should hear from him the story of Anudeep and how it is getting integrated under the wheel. Satish Kulkarni, he's also very active in energy, and we have to start program with that. He's not here. Robert Nathan, Bob Nathan, he should be somewhere here. He is in charge of lifestyle. And Arjun Sen, he is the current president of PanIIT USA, and San Sengupta is not here. Arjun, you are somewhere here? Okay, so please stand up. These are the people who are basically the governance of the wheel. Now let me show you some of the partners. Again, we said strategy through collaboration and partnership with IITs and other people, non-IIT alumni organization we are forming. Existing MOUs and partnership already in place with Habitat for Humanity. Now you know about Habitat for Humanity, so I'm going to elaborate, but what value do we add? We made the contract, 2 areas we are going to add value. Instead of building a single house, we build a house complex and bring the wounded warrior as the owner of those houses, and one house will be dedicated towards consulting, etc., for the need support, and another will be IT training that he will do that, Deepak will do that, so they will have employment. And that's the fantastic reaction, the part that we have contacted, they are very excited about that. Okay, then one is API. API is a program with doctors, 70,000 strong doctors in this country, says, we want to join up with you. Why? Because it says we provide medical services, and you can provide technology for medical instrumentation. A complementary effort. We have a project called Sevak, 26 villages in Gujarat is already being done, and now we have a 3-stage plan all the way to telehealth, telemedicine, and then take on to the other states of India. Anudeep Foundation, we'll hear from Deepak. Room to Read is another organization worldwide. They have come to us and written a contract how to provide books in the villages. And they're very successful, and we can tell you later details. Next one is very interesting, how quickly it can be done. I see Rom Mehta sent me here, and I'll tell you quickly the story. Few people from Hyderabad, Bombay chapter, goes to a village, they find tube wells, normally should be clean water, extremely polluted. They immediately write to Suresh, hey, what can we do? First of all, then we said, well, go find out what the solution. They came back with a solution. Solution gives the cheapest pure water today is manufactured in India in a plant has been already set up, providing to 10,000 villages. And now we have to have 10 such plants right now. And Suresh is talking about. This is also how the IITs can do. So these are the various symbols. Then business plan competition is another one we are talking about, how to get the thing to the young people. Yesterday I was found this amazed. Full room full of young people, and that's our alumni children. This could be brought under the whole IIT as a part. Collaboration and discussion is Wounded Warrior, Pratham, Akshay Patra, Parivar, as I talked about. Please visit us in that booth we have, and you'll see more details. Now here is a little thing we talked about, how fast it started. I think Ro can explain to you, and he's very intimately involved, clean drinking water. Madhu Reddy and Ron Mehta has started, and Ron is already here. A successful implementation clean drinking project, and I think it's a tremendous cooperation between the alumni all over the world, first plan we can do. Next, the Habitat for Humanity. I think this is the India Gives program. Already, Birla, one of the Birla Foundation has put in money, and again, we have to go and develop in India. At the same time, we are talking to the point in the USA. So it is a giving back in both ways reciprocally. Then we talk about the other area. The next one is the Sebak program, and I think I briefly described to you, so I'm not going to go to read the whole chart. Our focus on right now is only monitoring, then we do drug dispensation, then we go to the medical support that we talked about. Large-scale expansion with the API. Then comes the Onduji Foundation work, and I think I'm not going to go deliberate because I want to take the thunder out of Deepak. He's a CEO, but he's joining this as a program director and bring some of the successful technology of education technology that he has done to USA. And we are getting a significant interest in that one, particularly as starting with the Wounded Warrior project. Deepak?
I'm going to introduce Deepak in a second, but just to add something to what Hiten just mentioned, I want to please acknowledge Ron Mehta, who's here in the audience, who was inspired this morning to make another $10,000 contribution to Wheels for the Clean Water Project. So thank you very much, Ron.
See how things is exploding, giving.
So the next speaker on the panel is Deepak Basu. Deepak is a graduate of IIT Kharagpur, an electronics and electrical communications engineer. He worked as a consultant here in the US till about 2006, then decided that he was going to go and do something in the social entrepreneurship area. He started NetHope in 2001. He started Anudeep Foundation in Calcutta in 2006. And since we are providing the platform for Wheels, we look for partners like Deepak who can actually deliver in the field with feet on the ground. So to talk about Anudeep, Deepak.
Thanks a lot. And good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks to Hitenda and Arjun. I'm the newest kid on the block, and it's great to be here on the Wheels team. And what I bring to the party is about 6 years of experience, almost 7 years now, both in India, some parts of Africa, and in the US, in the field of what we call livelihood creations. Taking people who are able to work but not skilled to work and linking them up with employers looking for people with skills and making that match. So you heard about a bit about Anudeep Foundation, so I'll take just a second and tell you about it. Anudeep Foundation is headquartered in Calcutta, and it is an Indian non-profit organization, been in existence since 2007. And since that time till today, we have trained 20,000 people, mostly young, marginalized men and women from rural areas, primarily rural areas and semi-urban locations. We have seen this country of ours, India, progressed incredibly fast in the field of IT and becoming the premier destination for IT in the world. However, the prosperity associated with that IT is not broad-based. It's limited to a few large metros. And it is our vision at Anudeep Foundation to broad-base that prosperity and bring a very, very untapped source of resources at the entry-level jobs from rural India. And that is what Anudeep does. For people who don't want to go for jobs, we provide rural entrepreneurship opportunities. We recruit some of our graduates, and we have spun off a for-profit organization that is doing global projects based on village youth trained into today's professionals. That being Anudeep, what we are bringing to the Wheels organization is that experience and bringing it to fit with the mission of the Wheels organization. So the thing that we have found in our work with Anudeep is that education is critical for development, but educated unemployed people are a burden for any country, be it the US or India, to bear. So an educated mind is the devil's workshop. We've heard about that. And we found that in India, there is a huge disparity, as I said, between the people who have and people who don't. And some of the numbers are absolutely staggering. There are 220 million youth in India who are educated and unskilled. And you hear about that central part of India with something like, I would say, about 30 or 35 districts of different states who form central India, where there's a lot of insurgency. And that's an area which has about a third of India's population who are not really doing productive work. And a large amount of that unhappiness is due to educated unemployed people. And the other thing that India is very unique in the world is that with increasing education, the unemployment rate goes up. So if you don't have education, unemployment is almost zero. 2 to 3 years education, unemployed is very less. But with postgraduates and doctorates, very, very high unemployment. The numbers are in the slides. And the resultant issues are crime, insurgency, people who can't get a job, try to get to power through politics. In the US, where we have been doing a lot of work in the New York area, we have been doing a fair amount of research, and some of the findings are absolutely mind-boggling. A child drops out of school every 26 seconds in this country, the leading superpower in the world. And through food stamps or health insurance or various other programs, incarceration, the country is spending $335 billion on this problem of high school dropouts. 1 in 4 African American males are incarcerated. 1 in 4, and the jails are overflowing. The Iraq War veterans, the unemployment rate is more than 20%. And then we come to the disabled or wounded veterans, most of whom, a large percentage of whom, are looking for work. So when we discussed all of these different problems, it was pretty depressing, but then we are making a start in our mission to work in India and in the US, and we are tackling as a first step in the education track to help unemployed people with skills in a market which is looking for skilled people to help them get jobs. So bring employability skill development to bear on marginalized populations of US and India. So we understand technology. Let us use technology to get these people skilled. They have the basic talent, they have the intelligence, and how can we make them more productive and more employable? At the same time, work with potential employers, understand their skill requirements, understand their number requirements, and try to match the supply with the demand. And so with that background, obviously, we're working with wounded veterans in the US. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, wounded veterans in the US and disabled veterans through the Wounded Warriors program. And moving on, actually, Wounded Warriors program. And through them, we leverage a fair amount of Department of Defense partnerships, funding, and programs, and bring to bear. And essentially leverage, say, my effort into a number of partnerships, which in turn get to other partnerships and bring a lot of resources to bear on something which we catalyze from here. On the youth unemployment side, inner city kids, we have a lot of dialogue with the New York City Department of Education, and NYU has indicated that we work in this program, adult education for kids at risk of crime, drugs, in the New York and hopefully other parts of this country. Meanwhile, in India, Anudeep is already on the ground, but we work going from rural students or rural people to engineering graduates who are unemployed. The proliferation of engineering universities, and then try to get them matched up with jobs, and also partnerships which we already have with the NSDC, Cisco Networking Academy, and the Dell Foundation, who we'll bring to the party. Thank you. That's a quick.
All right, thank you very much, Deepak. Let's give it up. Unfortunately, we have a very, very tight schedule, and we probably have time for just one question. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a booth, so please stop by and talk to any one of us. But just one other thing that I want to do before we go to the question, I want to recognize Alison Hayes from Habitat for Humanity, who took the trouble to join us this morning, and she's in the audience. Thank you very much, Alison. And as Hiten pointed out, we have an MOU to help Habitat for Humanity in the United States and in India for their India Builds program. So I have some really interesting questions, and I'm going to try and summarize them into one, so you can go around and sort of answer the question and quickly wrap this up. So the question is, what percentage of the funds are actually distributed to the cause? And how can people nominate projects, if you will? How can they propose projects in India or here? And what is the process that you have to do some special interest things like helping women in India? How do you raise awareness around the rape crisis in India? And so on. So exactly how does Wheels participate as the platform in which PanIIT can propose projects, fund the projects, and actually deliver it in India? So why don't we go around, and please take just 1 minute to answer them, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, so the intention over time is to actually create a Wheels India at some point of time. That unfortunately will take a little time for various reasons. What we have done in the meanwhile is we are having a conversation to set up a partnership with what is Charities Aid Foundation India, which is an organization that actually accredits, they have right now 150 NGOs, and if what you want to do is donate to one of the institutions that any of those NGOs handle, then we route it through Charities Aid Foundation to be able to get to them. Depending on what the donation is, they take 8% or 10% to manage this process and do the accreditation, make sure they send the reports. That's what it will cost right now. I think as we get our own Wheels India Foundation, the cost would be somewhat similar. In fact, I worry sometimes that the cost might be higher, in which case we might delay setting that up because we've got an efficient channel right now that might be able to get to people. Charities Aid Foundation does some interesting work in India. They have a program called GAYE, Give As You Earn, and people in India, especially in the IT industry, who want to give 100 rupees a month from their payroll, they collect it and give it to the NGO, and then send a report back to the individual about the difference it's making or whatever feedback needs to be given. So, that is the channel we have. Well, we are talking to them. We should have in the next few months. And that'll be how we probably approach some of these in India. Some we talk to directly, of course.
Hiten?
Okay, I think two other items. A very good question, all three. First, how much goes back to the real people for which we are raising money? And our goal is it has to be less than 5%. Any administrative cost will be a voluntary basis. Most of our volunteers will be done that way. That's how we'll look the people. But there will be some administrative cost which can be contained in the 5% if the base is very large. Second, the woman thing is absolutely important. That is, goes to the heart of whole wheel and getting the PanIIT down to various sustainability of PanIIT. Because there are two areas, young people and women, we are frankly lacking. So we are deciding at the PanIIT level how to create the structure, and where the woman leader will be chosen, and then they will be given complete freedom. All areas that is important to them. In the web page, in the activity, it will all done under the Wheels program, exactly the way you're talking about, but for social change. Last area is very important that Will says in terms of criteria of choosing. Sometimes you have to say no. Very important thing is say yes and sometimes say no. So we are developing some criteria under which we'll choose the project carefully, but then give as much independence as possible to have them run, including keeping their name. But they'll be under the Will.
Thank you, Ethan. Deepak, 25 words or less.
dbasu@anudeep.org for all education, livelihood, and associated projects. Write to me. I'll get back to you, and definitely we'll take those on.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning and organizing committee to give us this platform to talk about wheels. Please join us in the booth at the back if you have any more questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We want to pass out some recognitions on behalf of the 2013 IIT Global Conference. Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. And do another quick photo op. While they're taking pictures, want to just do another safety moment. This is by KBR, Prospector Offshore Drilling, and Zentech. Just to